Here's a question that I get a lot on this path of recovery that I'm so excited to answer today. Community members wrote me this: Tommy, will you please talk about smoking tobacco and how you were able to move past it or have it removed from your life? Fantastic. Well, I feel strongly about this topic because nicotine was such a massive addiction for me. It's really one of those ones that I can say for myself, in my own experience, I don't feel like I got anything positive from it. I would simply say I was stuck in it. And so being stuck in it, while I was stuck in it, it relieved me from an extraordinary sense of craving. As many of you know from reading my book or attending workshops or seminars, I was a heroin addict and a cocaine addict and been through a lot of forms of addiction. Cigarette smoking has to be up there with one of the most insidious and most difficult to stop. So my heart goes out to anybody who is smoking and who would like to get off of it. I've written a stop smoking protocol, which is available on our website, r20.com, for all of our members. And I try to send it out regularly so people can get access to it. So here goes. I'll just give you my basic take on it. Aside from the physically addicting characteristic of nicotine, there are a few reasons why people actually smoke cigarettes. One of them is to simply pass time. What we know about people who smoke cigarettes, they have this thing called boredom in their life. So a lot of them report back, God, I feel a sense of boredom. I'm not sure what to do with my time. And that's an interesting thing. We'll unpack that in a moment. And there's also impatience. So there's an impatience involved, and there's a boredom involved. And in that impatience, in that boredom, very often we'll pick up a cigarette and we'll pass time, literally. So I don't know how long it takes a person to smoke a cigarette. A couple minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes, or it really depends on the person. And so for that period of time, a person is engaging in an activity that literally will just pass some time without really having to consciously think about too much. There's an activity you're engaged in that moves the time forward. Interesting that we would not know what to do with our time. This means we haven't developed a conscious and productive relationship with time. What we would like to do is to find a way to pass time that is productive, healthful, and fun, rather than being destructive and hurtful to the body and addictive, right? So smoking cigarettes will not fit my definition of passing time productively. Impatience. It seems quite often that we're impatient in a moment. And impatient just simply means, I don't like this moment. I want something else to come. I'm impatient because I'm waiting for something to happen. Essentially, if you break it down to its most core place, impatience is craving the future. It's an addiction to the desire for the future to get here, which means, again, we have a very skewed relationship with time. How can we fix that? Well, first of all, we're going to have to break our physical addiction to nicotine, because when you're physically addicted to a drug that's that powerful, first you have to get off of that before you can really begin to do the deeper work. Before we get into that, I also want to mention cigarettes achieve something really important. They actually do achieve something. There's a reason we do it, not just to pass time. Cigarettes will take a person who is stuck in their head in mental thought and bring them down into their body. Nicotine is a grounding drug, and to smoke anything is a grounding, embodying experience. Why? We pick up a cigarette, and what do? You take actually a very deep breath. People who smoke cigarettes may actually take the deepest breaths of their day when they're actually smoking. It's unfortunate that those deep breaths are filled with about, well, several thousand chemicals. But they're breathing deeply. And as we draw that smoke down into our lungs, we're literally grounding ourselves. And we're drawing ourselves from our head down into the body. So very often, that impatience, that desire to pass time, is partially there because we're up in our head, whether we're aware of it or not, dealing with some stuff consciously or subconsciously that is uncomfortable and causing us to want to reach out for a future to get here more quickly. We choose the cigarette to do that. So all of this stuff is going on. How do we break nicotine addiction? Okay. The obvious answer is for a prolonged period of time, we have to not take nicotine into the body. The body will go through its detoxification process, which at first can be a little bit uncomfortable and can create irritability and all of this in a person. We also know that people who quit smoking, they turn to something. What do they turn to? In those moments where they quit smoking, a lot of people turn to food. Why? Because it's grounding. If you're not pulling something into your lungs, well, you better be pulling something into your belly. So food is also going to achieve that thing, that sense of groundedness and comfort, to bring us out of our head for a moment, to bring us into a sensory experience that we feel is pleasing, which is that relationship with food, albeit in this case, an addictive relationship with food. So we want to be mindful there. Here's what I suggest. Pick a day. Make it a good day to stop smoking. Picking a birthday, not necessarily a good day. The day before a birthday, not necessarily a good day. Day after a birthday, maybe a better day. The reason I say that is because when we pick a day that's loaded with emotion, sometimes those will be the hardest days on which to quit. So I say to people, pick a nondescript day. Let it be a Tuesday. It's another Tuesday. Let it be a Thursday. Whatever it is, there's nothing special about that day, except it's the day where your life is going to change completely. So you pick that day to quit. And I make it my business to tell everybody, all my closest inner circle people, I am trying to achieve something on this day and I need your support. So I get it right out in the open. I'm not alone with this thing. People know. I'm getting phone calls. Are you okay? How can we support you? What can we do? Do you know we love you? You got this. Make it through the day, just this day. If I have a weak moment, I've got 2 or 3 or 4 people that I can pick up the phone and call right away and say, listen, I'm wanting to smoke. I'm really wanting to get through this day. I need to break this. What do you got to say? And they'll talk me down off of the perch. It's very important. When you wake up on that day, begin to drink water. Hydration is going to be an incredible tool for you to get through these first couple of days with a greater sense of comfort, or maybe a less sense of discomfort than you would have otherwise. I like to squeeze a little bit of lemon in my water. That's delicious and cleansing to the palate, puts a nice taste in my mouth rather than that horrendous taste from the cigarette I might have had when I woke up. And so do the water thing. I would like to suggest that you drink at least 4 to 8 glasses of water throughout the day. Remembering, especially if you're feeling craving, just go right back to water, squeeze a little lemon, maybe a tiny pinch of Celtic sea salt to get some electrolytes in there. Drink that water down throughout the day. That's going to help a lot. Also, what I like to do is to drink some fruit and vegetable juices that I squeeze myself, that I juice myself. Organic juices, wherever possible. I'm going to have a lot of the leafy greens, lettuces, chards, kale, parsley, then your celery, your cucumber, but also something a little bit sweet, like a nice red apple or some berries or pineapple, something to add a little sweetness in there so that you can really enjoy that drink, and that'll be your treat instead of a cigarette. Other thing, when you notice cravings come up, here is going to be one of the great tools we're going to dig into, and that's the use of the breath. Okay. 2 techniques I'll teach you right now. Take your left hand, bring your thumb and forefinger together, and simply place it palm face up on your knee. left knee. Right hand comes up and the right thumb will block off the right nostril. And you begin to breathe through the left nostril in and out, exclusively through the left. Stay there, set a timer somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. Left nostril breathing, this is a cooling, calming breath, and it is actually an antidote to craving. Will take your craving right down. If you do this breath for 3 to 5 minutes, you will find that after that 3 to 5 minutes, you're in a different place. Your emotional state has absolutely shifted, and you get up and you go about your day and just move on. So very, very powerful technique. Second technique, inhale, take a deep inhale. Hold your breath for as long as you can hold your breath without any strain. When you need to exhale, exhale. Inhale again. Hold your breath as long as you can without any strain. Don't strain at all. When you need to exhale, exhale. And you do that 7 times. Now some of you may, even though you smoke, may be able to hold your breath for a while without straining. That's the key, is to do it without straining. No aggravation in this breath. Just hold and then exhale when you feel you need to, and do that 7 times. Also, a huge, huge shift in your emotional state. Turn to those breath practices when you need them. If you get into trouble and you feel that craving coming on, go right to the breath, go right to the water, and these are 2 great techniques. Now, because so many people report that they smoke after a meal, the thing to do is, now this is going to be really important, in your eating, when you're eating food, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, first of all, say a prayer over the food and remind yourself that you're nourishing yourself today. That's really important. Eat your food only 80% till you feel 80% full. Do not fill your belly. Only till you feel about 80% full. Really important not to feel bloated during this first period of time. Why? When you feel bloated, often people will smoke to try to relieve that dis-ease, that lack of ease that they feel just because they filled their body up. So just 80%, follow the 80-20 rule, 80% only. And then when you're done, no dessert. No dessert at meals. Just get up from the table, walk away. This brings me to the next one. Start to bring cardiovascular exercise into your life as soon as you possibly can. As soon as you possibly can. So that means brisk walks. Right after a meal is a great time to go out and take a walk and to help you to digest your food properly. Wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Beginning to go on some light runs. Your body needs to be ready, obviously. Don't do anything that could strain you in any way. Check with your medical doctor first. Make sure before you're getting onto some kind of new routine, make sure that it's safe for you. And then bike riding, hiking, all these kinds of things, getting outdoors, really, really super helpful. Help me to move beyond nicotine addiction. Finally, and I don't know how to overstress this one, learn breath of fire. Learn breath of fire. It is so critically important. This is a yogic technique of breathing where you draw the belly in on the exhale and you release it on the inhale. You're breathing in and out through the nose only. It'll look like this. You'll notice that my belly is coming in on the exhale and releasing out on the inhale, that my exhale and inhale are even and smooth. Breath of fire is such a powerful breath. I have a whole lesson on it available in our membership community. If you haven't joined yet, please, what are you waiting for? Please join the community. All of this is there and can help you a lot as you not just let go of smoking, but many, many other challenges that you'll face on the path of recovery. So come and get it. It's here. So that's a basic stop smoking protocol. Hydration, using the breath of fire, cardiovascular exercise, pick the right day, gather support around you. And you got this. Listen, if you can get through one single day, then you can get through a million of them. Okay, I'm now, it's 2017 when I'm recording this, so I am 14 years off of all forms of nicotine. And let me tell you, I never ever have a thought about it. I never ever think, gosh, I wish I could have a cigarette. It absolutely disgusts me. And it will disgust you too, because it's a disgusting habit that's hurtful to your mind, your body, and contrary to your spiritual desire for true connection. Not the connection that comes from reaching for a cigarette, but the connection that comes from you connecting with your own highest self, your heart, connecting within. I hope that's helpful to you, and let me know how it goes. Sat Nam and much love.